A very good morning to you. It is Monday, February 9th, 2026. Welcome to Mornings with Ken Rosato, live on both the East Coast in New Jersey and the New York City metro area, and also live in Southern California throughout the Los Angeles and San Diego areas, now on LACA. Our phone lines are open, 888-658-0234. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the weather near you.
This weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts, serving all of New Jersey with 13 locations.
Mike, after this weekend's brutally bitter cold weather in the Northeast and the heat in LA, things are going to moderate a bit in both places now, right?
They are, yeah. It's going to feel a touch milder throughout the week. Day by day, we'll gain a few degrees. But this morning, it's another round of brutally cold air all across the east with that clear sky on tap, a gusty wind that's been blowing pretty much all night long and even out west as the rain system moves into the west coast, even down towards Southern California. You tap into some wet weather over the next few days. But it's this next cold start today that keeps our wind chills very chilly, even with temperatures 25 to 35 degrees below average. As that northwesterly wind blows, that's another round of Arctic air, meaning those wind chills will make it feel like 15 to 20 below, especially northern and northwestern sections of New Jersey as that wind continues today. Until we tap into the milder flow of air that comes in by Wednesday, it's still pretty brutally chilly. But there is a warm up on the way. We'll tell you all about that, Ken, coming up in our next weather update.
All right, next weather update 4.5 hours from now. Appreciate that, Mike. Thank you. Thank you very much. I just can't believe how bitter cold it was this weekend. It was just
Yeah.
unbelievable. My frozen toes felt that they had frozen toes, which is just, I don't even know what that means. That's how cold it was. But we appreciate you, Mike, and we will check back. Right now, though, it is a balmy 7 degrees in Trenton. It is 9 degrees northern New Jersey, 5 degrees in Vineland, but the wind chill, still a little bit of wind out there. Make it feel like below zero. Los Angeles, though, 56 degrees, some rain, as Mike said, coming, but certainly moderated temperatures. We look at some of the traffic in the area right now in the northeast. We start in New Jersey. There's a crash on US 1 southbound north of Ridge Road, and that is in South Brunswick, causing the right lane and the right shoulder to be closed. We have a water main break. A lot of that happening. Because of the bitter cold, there are so many water main breaks to report. This is on 280 in both directions, west of exit 11, Freeway Drive, east-west in Orange City Township. The right lane of the 3 lanes closed westbound, the right shoulder closed eastbound. And if they don't cap that, it's just going to cover the whole roadway. So just be aware of that. We have a disabled tractor trailer, New Jersey Turnpike, Western Spur northbound, north of interchange 15E, 1 and 9 in Newark with the right lane blocked. Another water main break. This one is on 206 southbound by 514 Amwell Road in Hillsborough Township. All lanes are closed there. We have a down pole on Route 36 northbound north of Thompson Ave in Middletown. All lanes closed there. Water main break, Route 35 northbound south of Cherry Tree Farm Road in Middletown. The right lane and right shoulder are closed, and the Pulaski Skyway has delays right now northbound from South Kearney and South Kearney to Tunnelly Circle in Jersey City. Just be aware of that. That's simply volume causing that. We look at the Hudson River crossings right now. The Lincoln is about 15 to 20. Holland is only 10 to 15. GWB upper and lower levels are already starting just a little bit. You could see but moving. That's the good news. Lower level is on the left, upper is on the right. It's about a 25 to 30-minute crossover time in the New Jersey right now. We look in Los Angeles. Right now we have a collision. No injuries, though. That's the good news. This is in West LA on I-10 at South Robertson. We have a hit and run with no injuries on 4469 Blanchard in East LA, and there is a traffic collision, unknown injuries, and this is in LA proper on Burdick Drive at North White Avenue. We move on right now, 5 minutes past the hour. And for those of you who encountered a late night, you're just wiping the Sandman from your eyes. Super Bowl 60 is one for the record books, and the winner is the Seattle Seahawks. They won their second Super Bowl title in history, dominating the New England Patriots with a 29-13 win after holding them scoreless through the first 3 quarters. Seattle's defense was on top of Patriots quarterback Drake May all night, causing 3 turnovers, sacking him 6 times and returning 1 interception for a TD. Seattle's offense was mostly powered by running back Kenneth Walker III and kicker Jason Myers, who made 5 field goals, a Super Bowl record. Walker III received the Super Bowl MVP award at the end of the night. He may be the #1 performer on the planet right now, but that's no excuse for him being an asshole. Bad Bunny decided it was appropriate for him to sit through the national anthem. Look at this. This happened at the game last night to protest all that he hates about America. He is an American citizen. He's from Puerto Rico. You know, the same country that gave him all the freedoms and successes that he enjoys as an arrogant, overpaid, highly overrated multimillionaire. Unfortunately, too many people don't think about the fact that when he sticks up his middle finger at America, you idiot, you are America. He's sticking up his middle finger at you. Now, you could choose to take it by streaming his music or boycott his ass and chastise anybody you know who listens to him. Nice that he could disrespect the very nation that gave him the fortune that he has. And this was the sign that was lit all over Levi's Stadium. The only thing more powerful than hate is love. Check this out. I don't know if we have the sign. There it is. The only thing more powerful than hate is love. Oh, love, as in allowing millions of illegal aliens into the U.S. against our laws and allowing tens of thousands of them to rape and murder innocent U.S. citizens, our daughters and wives and sisters, while mainstream media gives it zero coverage because it simply doesn't fit their socialist narrative that separates people into victims and victimizers. You mean that love? Got it. Thank you very much. Oh, those of you in the San Francisco Bay Area. 7 minutes past the hour, an estimated 20 to 30 million people streamed the alternative halftime show starring Kid Rock, hosted by Turning Point USA and streamed on their website, their YouTube channel, and about a half dozen other platforms. They got 10 million streams on their own website and about 20 million on all the other social media platforms. While 100 million watched Bad Bunny's halftime show on NBC, that is about 33%, or I'm sorry, 33 million viewers, 33% down from last year's unbelievable Kendrick Lamar show. That was a great show. Well, no doubt Bad Bunny's obnoxious anti-American attitude drove tens of millions of viewers away. Think about it. 20 to 30% of all Super Bowl viewers tuned out when Bad Bunny came on. That takes an effort. And they didn't just change the channel. They switched over to a streaming channel to avoid seeing Bad Bunny. That says an awful lot. And I think the networks should scratch their heads and think about that. But they won't. They won't. I heard some people on the network saying last night, oh, there won't be any people watching the alternative show. Everybody I know watched the alternative show. I don't know a person yet who watched Bad Bunny. I'm dying to see what they have to say about it. 8 minutes past the hour. In some parts of the country, local NBC affiliates were allowed to air the following ICE commercial.
They're friends and neighbors, sons, fathers. They're little league coaches and veterans. They're people who love this country. These are Immigration and Customs Enforcement officers. They are removing violent criminals from our streets and neighborhoods. It's dangerous and difficult work. But ICE has one mission: to make America a safer place to live, and that's what they're doing. This is law enforcement. This is ICE.
Now, many affiliates in larger markets with liberal populations refused to air the spot, calling it controversial. Somehow it's controversial to simply have what they call a descriptor spot, a commercial that talks about who you are, and they're law enforcement, legal. This is created by Congress. The Congress people, those very same people elected into office. Those same affiliates, though, had no problem airing Bad Bunny sitting through the national anthem. Think about that. And the search for 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie, the missing mother of NBC Today co-host Savannah Guthrie, is now in its 9th day. No suspects or persons of interest. President Trump told reporters the FBI may be nearing definitive answers in the case, while the FBI is offering a $50,000 reward for info on Guthrie's disappearance, and they are vetting ransom notes. Savannah Guthrie posted a new video to Instagram Saturday saying her family had received a message and was pleading for her mother's return. Investigators were seen scoping the septic system at the house and conducting tests to look for any blood that may have been washed away. The second deadline to transfer $6 million in Bitcoin to the alleged kidnapper is now 7 o'clock Eastern time or 5 o'clock local time later today. And U.S. Attorney for Washington, D.C., Jeanine Pirro, said the U.S. would never stop seeking justice for Americans killed by terrorists after the arrest of Zubair al-Bakush, one of the leaders of the 2012 attack on the U.S. consulate in Benghazi. Pirro said the cavalry never came that day for our desperate Americans who begged for help as they were ignored by President Obama and Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. The two would go on to lie to Congress and the American people themselves and via proxy, saying first that this was not a coordinated attack when they knew it was, and later that there was nothing that could be done when there was a lot that they chose not to do. Pirro vowed that while we have the mastermind behind the attack, more people will be captured to face American justice. The attack happened at the U.S. consulate in Benghazi, Libya, 9/11/2012. That date alone, 9/11, should have made any responsible Secretary of State put all embassies on high alert. But Hillary Clinton did nothing, while an ambassador and 4 brave U.S. warriors were slaughtered, their dead bodies demoralized as they were dragged through the streets for people to spit on and throw rocks at. Clinton would famously ask Congress, "What difference does it make at this point?" Many have suggested for that statement alone, she should spend the rest of her life in prison as a traitor committing treason. The 2026 Winter Olympics began with another packed day yesterday, and all eyes on 3-time Olympic medalist American Lindsey Vonn. But the excitement was quickly dampened as Vonn suffered a serious crash to the women's downhill, breaking her leg in the process. The 41-year-old was competing with a torn ACL at the time. It looks like Vonn struck a gate with her arm. She then twisted and tumbled onto her side and rolled. Vonn could be heard shouting in pain. Fortunately, a helicopter was nearby and rushed her to treatment. She had surgery for that break. Vonn is the only U.S. woman ever to win downhill gold and was trying to become the oldest alpine skier, woman or man, to medal in the games. Just an amazing talent. We hope she does well. Coming up on 13 minutes past the hour, when we come back, are you feeling like you are unmotivated or fatigued? We will speak with a doctor who may know why. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the weather near you when we return. You're watching Mornings with Ken Rosato, covering the East Coast and the West Coast, streaming daily on Roku, Fire TV, News on Samsung TV Plus, Apple TV, Facebook, X, ONNJ, and ONLXCA, and now stream live on Mouse, Substack, and Twitch. We'll come right back.
Play it like the New York Sirens. Live in the spotlight. Etch your name in lights. Embrace the noise. And when it calls you, turn it up. Get louder. Play it like they'll hear us everywhere. Because this is our team. New York Sirens. Play it big.
And welcome back to Mornings with Ken Rosato for your Monday, 15 minutes past the hour. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the forecast near you.
This weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts, serving all of New Jersey with 13 locations.
Mike, is it safe to say we likely have, or in the middle of, clearing the worst of winter right now? We keep our fingers crossed.
It is safe to say, especially with the longer range forecast looking a little bit milder, to be above average for a change. That'll be nice going into the next few weeks here in February, but we still have our cold morning to get through, especially with that gusty wind promoting another frigid start to the day all across the Northeast, and it stays nice and chilly all through this afternoon. There's a little bit of a milder trend on the way, and it comes with some westerly breezes, which tend to bring in a less of a harsher cold that'll make us feel a little bit milder by the time we get to, say, Wednesday time frame. And that's all due to this warm air that's moving across the country. So we're still locked in with the cold, at least for the next few days, but we'll start to see a little bit of a nicer trend going forward. Out in Italy, if you keep an eye on the Olympic Games, you'll notice there's a little bit more snow going through this week. So if you're watching the Olympic Games, you'll probably see that snow happening by Wednesday time frame. Could pick up another inch or two over in Cortina and in the hills there in Bormio and Livigno. But down in Milan, if you're watching some of the ceremonies there, some of the outside shots, you see the fog, you see the rain. Yeah, they're getting another third of an inch of rain out there for the games. Now, our forecast brings back some chilly weather, but it's not as cold this week, not as harshly cold, even though there's the threat of a few passing sprinkles by the time we get to Wednesday. Notice I didn't say flurries. It's actually mild enough to support a little bit of rain that comes in by tomorrow night into early Wednesday morning. You see some icing there in northern New Jersey, a little bit of light rain for the rest of the state, and then clouds by the middle of the week, transitioning to another round of cold enough air that it may support a little bit of light snow, say by the time we get to Sunday. This is one to watch by the end of the weekend. It's always been on the map, but now it's kind of coming together. So we'll see how that pans out. But for the rest of the week, I think we'll see a quiet weather trend overall before our next rain system moves into Southern California. We've got that part of the forecast coming up in just a few minutes, Ken.
All right, Mike, appreciate you, sir. Very chilly, 7 degrees right now we have in Trenton, and we look down, let's see, we have northern New Jersey. Ugh, what did I just do here? I just messed up my system. Let me go back to it. Sorry about that, folks. We have 7 degrees, as I said, northern New Jersey. It's 5 degrees now in Vineland. It is 5 degrees also in northern New Jersey. Just very, very cold, and with just a little bit of wind. That's all it takes in order to feel bitter, bitter cold. But as Mike said, a little bit of a milding trend by 5-10 degrees. We'll take it as the week goes on. We have a down pole right now on Route 36 northbound north of Thompson Avenue, and that's in Middletown. A right lane and right shoulder are closed. We have a crash on US 1 southbound north of Ridge Road in South Brunswick. Right lane and right shoulder are closed there. Now, Pam, I believe you have a shot for us. This is on I-280, a water main break in both directions west of exit 11, which is Freeway Drive east and west in Orange City. The right lane of 3 lanes closed on the westbound side, on the right shoulder closed eastbound. What you see is some flashing lights there on one of the sides showing you where that water main break took place. There's another water main break now on 206 southbound at Amwell Road in Hillsborough. All lanes are closed. We have a water main break Route 35 northbound south of Cherry Tree Farm Road, and that is in, and of course it just refreshed on me, folks. Give me a second. That is in Middletown. Right lane and right shoulder closed there. The Hudson River crossings right now. The Lincoln is going to cost you about 20 to 25. Holland is only 15. GWB upper and lower levels still moving pretty well. 25 to 30 minutes in. You can see they're starting to pound up a little bit now, but at least there is motion at this hour, and that's a good thing. We go over to the West Coast, and what do we find? We find an accident right now with no injuries. This is on 4469 Blanchard in East LA. There's a hit and run with no injuries on South LA at I-105 by Eastern 110. And then we have an incident here, traffic collision, no injuries on 105 at Lakewood Boulevard, and that is in Santa Fe Springs. Well, are you feeling like you are unmotivated or fatigued? How about resetting our minds to regain some momentum? Dr. Latha Devi is program manager at the Rutgers Brain Health Institute. She is here to share her post-holiday brain reset toolkit. I don't know about you, I could use a good brain reset. We say good morning to you, Dr. Devi. Good to have you on.
Thank you so much, Ken. It's great to be here. I'm excited to share some.
Yeah, this is fascinating. So post-holiday, is this a time when most people tend to get into their slump and then it just lingers at this point?
Absolutely. It is like you hit a wall and you have low motivation. There's a common feeling of fatigue and even irritability. when the festivities die down.
And so, do we also get disrupted sleep schedules, reduced daylight? How does that? Because I was diagnosed years ago with seasonal sleep disorder, or a seasonal, I'm sorry, seasonal mood disorder. So I use the morning light on occasion to boost my mood when it gets into the deep gray of winter. But is this more common than we may have diagnosed?
Yes, so from a brain science perspective, it's often due to disrupted routines. Like you can think about irregular sleep, less exposure to natural light, and all those holiday indulgences. So, right now, especially in New Jersey, we have 6 more weeks of, or maybe probably more, extreme cold snap that is going to keep us indoors. So it's even harder to get our natural light and routine back to track, which really impacts our brain's master clock. And this can throw off some of the brain chemicals like dopamine, which drives motivation, and serotonin, which regulates our mood. However, the good news is it's short lived. And with a few strategies, we can actually reset our brain to a vibrant start for the new year.
Well, perfect. Let's talk about that. What are some of those strategies?
So the first strategy that would be is to restore your daily rhythm, aim for consistent sleep wake cycles, and make sure that you're sleeping at least 7 to 9 hours, which is ideal. And get your morning natural light, even a quick outdoor walk. I understand that it's very cold out there, but bundle up, maybe go out on the porch, look at the sun. And this actually helps to stabilize mood and lowers the stress hormones like cortisol, protecting areas like the hippocampus that handle memory and emotion, which is very important for us in our daily life. And the next thing that you could do is make sure that you devote 20 minutes of your days for simple light activity, any type of physical activity. It can mean yoga or even a light cardio, preferably do it outdoors. And this fresh air and the light, it actually boosts something called as a brain derived neurotropic factor, BDNF, which is like a fertilizer to our brain, and also gives you endorphins for a natural mood lift. This is a great way to combat winter and build up resilience. Another strategy that can be done is we have eaten a lot of sweets through the holidays. So swap those with nutrient rich foods. And when I say nutrient rich food, think about fatty fish like salmon, which is very good for your omega 3s, and berries and walnuts, which are antioxidants, leafy greens, and even a bit of dark chocolate. You can indulge in that. Stay hydrated and limit excess caffeine and alcohol. Follow the 1-to-1 rule, alternate with water. These choices fight inflammation, clear your brain fog, and sharpen focus by reducing oxidative stress. And one point, finally, I would like to say that mindfulness and gratitude, these are very important for strengthening your prefrontal cortex. So prefrontal cortex helps you with emotional regulation. So try 5 to 10 minutes of meditation or deep breathing daily, or journal 3 things you have been grateful for. It shifts your mindset, reduces rumination, and boosts clarity. Perfect for shaking off that low motivation.
Doctor, I think back to when I was first diagnosed with seasonal mood disorder. And I remember being told, this is 15 years ago. I remember being told, actually, the suggestion was give up alcohol altogether. I would always have a couple of glasses of wine a day. I've given up alcohol altogether. It's been a number of years. Never felt better in my life. Inflammation down, changes your whole mood and your whole outset, even the way you eat. And the foods you choose to eat and the way you choose to live your life, you just change, you get more motivated. But I remember the psychiatrist I had talked to about this, and she had said that if you can't get out in the bitter cold, at least crack open the door to get the rush of cold air in on you. And I had one of those seasonal lights. Now, everybody doesn't have access to them. They're not that cheap. But I used to put that on. The first thing when I would wake up, before I did anything else, I'd put on that light. There's something about, you would know better than me, certainly, the impact of that light. The minute you wake up, it resets your brain chemistry at that point. And it really impacted my day. It made me feel positive, gave me a whole positive outlook. So there is so much to be said for this. But even the simple things like you're talking about, getting rid of sugar, which you kind of reprogram yourself from I guess, Halloween. Think about it, October 31st with the candy, right through Christmas and New Year's. All we do is eat garbage that we normally wouldn't eat, right? And then we gain that
Yes.
weight. We have the sugar, we crave the carbohydrates. There's just a point where you just have to, if you can't do it by cutting cold turkey, you have to wean yourself off of it and get back to healthful eating, right? Vegetables and proper proteins in order to get back into that proper chemistry for your body.
Yes, I agree.
So, but I appreciate what you talked about mindfulness, gratitude, and social connection, and how important that is, just taking a few minutes each day to refocus. Now, Rutgers Brain Health Institute, I know, brings together more than 300 labs. How does that work?
So we have, as you told, more than 300 labs which are working to advance cutting edge neuroscience research, and especially in areas like mental health, addiction, and neurodegeneration. So, our commitment is to make brain science accessible to everyone. And right now, we are very excited we are in the exciting process to expand our website with free resources which are tailored for the public. Things like articles, tips, and guides on everyday brain health. So I encourage visitors
I don't mean to,
actually.
doctor, I don't mean to cut you off only because we're down to 30 seconds. Please excuse my interruption. Can you tell us what that website is? Just because I think that's important people know.
Yeah, so this website is all about the type of research that we do, the centers that we have, and also we have updates and tips and articles and all the information that you need for people, and to there are updates and more content, and we have extensive resource basically for mental health.
But doctor, we're out of time, so I just need the website. Do you know what the website is, or else we'll put it on our
Yeah, it
website?
is Brain Health Institute at .rutgers.edu.
Excellent. Dr. Lata Devi, Program Manager at the Rutgers Brain Health Institute. We appreciate you. Thank you for coming on this morning. We're coming
Thank you
right
very
back.
much.
Play it like the New York Sirens. Live in the spotlight. Etch your name in lights. Embrace the noise. And when it calls you, turn it up. Get louder. Play it like they'll hear us everywhere. Because this is our team. New York Sirens. Play it big.
A very good morning, 30 minutes past the hour. It is Monday, February 9th, and welcome back to Mornings with Ken Rosato. Phone lines are open at 888-658-0234. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the full forecast for your area.
This weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts, serving all of New Jersey with 13 locations.
All right, Mike, bitter cold still in the east, but a change, and also warm in the west, but a change, but a
But a
change. I like
change.
that.
Yeah, it's a good change because after wind chills this weekend, Ken, that were 20 to 30 degrees below zero, it was harsh across the Northeast. Now we get a bit of a break. Yes, it's cold this morning, but there are milder days ahead. Speaking of, had some clouds move in overnight there to the northwestern coast of the country, but down in LA, have a little bit of that rain moving in as well. Speaking of some rain, there's also that moving in for the Olympics this week. So if you're watching the coverage, you'll notice probably decreased visibility for those outdoor sports up in Cortina and even over there in the Austrian border. The rest of the north of Italy has that rain for the rest of the week too. So all those bright blue, beautiful skies you've seen there across the images coming in from Italy, probably going to be a little grayer this week, especially through Thursday. Now, back home, we have a little bit of that cloud cover around this morning, but mostly it's clear, the cold weather, kind of fooling the satellite, pretending that there's clouds overhead, but it's another round of wet weather that comes in by tomorrow night into Wednesday, and then following that is a brief round of cloud cover and some flurries that move in. Another round of cold air settles in for this week, keeping a lot of the rain to our south, and then another system takes up going up the coast. Likely we're on the wetter side, so it's probably going to be mostly rain for most of New Jersey. This is Sunday we're talking about, so still several days away. But then we look down toward the southwest, where it's clear at the moment, but I think we'll start off our Monday morning with a little bit more in the way of cloud cover as the morning goes along there, with some more potential for some showers and clouds along the way later on this week. With that trough coming in, you see some wet weather entering the picture there, especially down toward LA, kind of two systems working in, giving the folks in Southern California some wet weather by tomorrow night. We'll tell you more about that with another check of your forecast, Ken, coming up in a few minutes.
All right, Mike, thank you very much. Still very, very cold. Our temperature let's say temperature in Trenton is now way up to 8 degrees. And in northern New Jersey, we're at 10. We have 8 degrees also in Cape May and 7 degrees right now in Vineland. West Coast right now, Los Angeles, 57, 59 degrees in San Diego. Looking at traffic right now, we have a crash on 295 northbound south of exit 29, Route 30. That's in Haddon Heights, New Jersey. Right lane to 3 lanes and right shoulder closed. We have a crash on Route 1 southbound north of Ridge Road, South Brunswick. The right lane and right shoulder closed there. And we have a crash on Martin Street southbound at Distribution Street, Newark. The right lane blocked. We have a disabled truck on the Turnpike Western Spur southbound by interchange 15W, which is 280 in Kearney, with the right lane blocked. And we have a crash with injuries just reported, Route 3 westbound east of Grove Street, Clifton, with the left lane blocked there. We have a water main break, 206 both directions at Amwell Road and Hillsborough, with the right lane closed. And we have a water main break, Route 36 northbound south of Linden Avenue, Highlands. All lanes closed there. Down pole on Route 36 northbound north of Thompson Ave, Middletown, with the right lane and right shoulder closed. And we have a water main break, 280 both directions west of exit 11. And that is, let's see, of course it reset on us as we're telling you this. That is Freeway Drive east and west in Orange City, with the right lane closed westbound, right shoulder closed eastbound. Another water main break. This is Route 35 northbound south of Cherry Tree Farm Road, Middletown, with the right lane of 2 lanes and the right shoulder closed. And your Hudson River crossings now. The Holland Tunnel is only 25 minutes into Manhattan. It's 25 in by the Lincoln. And we take a look at the GWB upper and lower levels starting to pile up right now. The upper level is on the right. That's a little better than the lower on the left. The lower is pretty stopped right there. They're telling us it's 35 minutes with the upper level, 40 minutes now with the lower. I bet you it's even higher than that with what we're looking at. We go to the West Coast right now in central LA. They're saying there's a traffic hazard of some sort on I-10 at Central Ave off-ramp. We have a traffic collision right now in Newhall at Sepulveda Boulevard and Roxford Street off-ramp. And then there's a hit and run with no injuries in South LA on I-105 at I-110, right at the interchange of the two. It is 35 minutes past the hour. Of course, buying a home is one of the biggest financial decisions many Americans will ever make. Well, now the Trump administration is proposing a change that can help more people afford a down payment to get the home of their dreams. Lance Morgan is the creator of College Funding Secrets, and we say good morning to Lance.
Good morning. How's it going?
Good, thank you. And this is not only to fund a house, but to fund college if they want, right? To pay off their college loans or to buy a business. The point is there are special reasons that they must give in order to get their 401k out and use that. But there's good and bad about this. First, let's talk about what the administration is proposing. Would you mind please explaining to everybody?
Well, the administration is proposing being able to access 401k money to get into real estate, which ultimately I think is a great idea because I think a lot of families are realizing that the 401k is not going to provide the cash flow needed in retirement, which we all know real estate has always been, a lot stronger when it comes to cash flow. And so I think it's very powerful to help families be able to get into real estate, as well as these new first-time homeowners being able to get into their first home as well, because a lot of people have most of their money in their 401k. Not a lot of people have a lot of access to money. Not a lot of people have a lot of savings. Most families have put all their money into their 401k, and if they do have a house, they put a lot of money into their house to build up that equity.
Yeah. If I may, what I've noticed, I mean, working in broadcasting for 40 years, I know a lot of people who make good salaries, right? And they have money to pay for a $5,000 a month apartment. They like to live
Mhm.
high. But many of those people never saved. So they don't have the money to put down when you need to put 20 or 30% down to get a good rate, say on a mortgage. They don't have that money. So they have the
Right.
5,000 a month. That's not a problem. But when you're told, okay, you need to put 300,000 down, they look at you with like five eyes, like, I don't have, it would
Yeah.
take me 20 years to save that kind of money. So that's where this makes an awful lot of sense. I remember the first time years ago I was told about a 401k. I was only in my early 20s and it was relatively new. And I thought that the company was robbing my money. I didn't know what this was about. And I remember my office manager, her name is Paula Rizzo. She watches. She made me, she said, you will put the maximum contribution in. But Paula, I need that money. I want to go party on the weekends. Shut up, put the maximum in. When I left that company 10 years later, I had six figures. It was like manna from heaven. So that kind of forced savings is so important, I think. And that may be the only savings many people have, right?
It's true. I'm with you. I remember when I got my first 401k, they just take it out of your paycheck, and it's, out of sight, out of mind, and so it's not something that you think about. I remember I had 10% of my savings being put into my or 10% of my income put into my savings account every month. But that was so easy to transfer into my checking. It was just too easy to get to. And so that 401k, of course, like you said, is that forced savings. And that's why most Americans have most of their money in their 401k. And so they start building up this 401k, but they don't build up savings. The other reason is because most families know that they need to save a lot more than they're saving for retirement. And so if they can get a better rate of return, that's going to help them get to their goals a lot faster. So everyone focuses on rate of return, and they don't want to put money into a savings account where it's earning 1% because they're so focused on that rate of return. But what they don't understand is that if they don't have access to their money, that's why families put money on credit cards and we get into credit card debt and things like that, is because you don't have access to the money. And I think having access to the money is very it's not given enough importance. And so you find most Americans with their money in their 401ks. So to be able to tap into those 401ks for real estate purchases could be a very powerful tool.
Yeah, Lance, when I was a kid, 30% on a loan, which is what credit cards can charge, 30%. That was called a mafia vig, right? And
Yeah. Yeah.
mobsters were thrown in jail for charging that kind of interest for a loan. But now, when credit card companies do it, there's nothing said. And when President Trump steps in and says, hey, guys, these are all his buddies who run these companies. Guys, at least for a friggin' year, let's just freeze it at 10%. You had people on the left in business say, you can't do that. You can't do that. Yet these are the same people that if it was just a different administration, they would champion it. Wow, you're for the people. It's unbelievable. And I don't care where you stand politically. It's like here an administration is saying, okay, the credit card companies are going to still make $1 trillion at 10%. I understand why they have to charge 20 to 30% for some people. I get it because a lot of people are at more higher credit risk. But you and I both know the way the credit system is set up. It is set up to screw you. I love how
Yeah.
the game, and in 20 seconds, if you would indulge me, when I found out this game, I'm like, this is criminal. Where a credit card company says, here's a $25,000 credit card. You use $20,000, even though you make all your payments, suddenly they say, oh, you're using 90%. You're a higher credit risk. Wait a second, I'm making all my payments. Why would you give me a $25,000 limit credit card if I'm not allowed to use a $25,000? And that screws up people's credit. And all of a sudden, even if they have perfect repayment history, now they have a 500 credit score because they used the credit they were given, even though they paid it back. It makes no sense. But this
Yeah.
does make sense because this is our money, correct?
Yes, that's correct. It's true. There's a lot of things that we do, I think, out of habit and maybe just because everybody else is doing it. We actually, our company is College Funding Secrets, and we teach people how to use a scholarship house to buy and pay for real estate or to pay for college and retirement instead of a traditional 529 account. And so a lot of families are using traditional 529 accounts to save and pay for college. But then when you spend that money, the money's gone and it's not going to be there for retirement. So the cost of college is so expensive that all that money that you pay towards college is not going to be there in retirement. So we teach families how to use a scholarship house, or in other words, buy some real estate and have that cash flow pay for college. And then that same cash flow can also pay for your retirement. So it's like having your cake and eating it too. You're not spending your college savings and having it be gone on an expense. You're spending your college savings on an asset, and that asset will pay for college and retirement. So sometimes there's just a lot of traditional ways of doing things that don't make sense.
Lance, what's your website for more information, please?
It's collegefunding.secrets.com.
I love it. We have friends, my other half and I, who did exactly that, and their son is going to live in that house, but it's right now being rented out. That's how they make money for his college. Very smart way to go. Lance Morgan, creator of College Funding Secrets. Thank you for giving us great information. We'll talk to you again. Please come back on. And we're coming right back.
Play it like the New York Sirens. Live in the spotlight. Etch your name in lights. Embrace the noise. And when it calls you, turn it up. Get louder. Play it like they'll hear us everywhere. Because this is our team. New York Sirens. Play it big.
Welcome back to Mornings with Ken Rosato. It is Monday. I know. 45 minutes past the hour, though. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the forecast near you.
This weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts, serving all of New Jersey with 13 locations.
Mike, two things that I neglected to talk to you about because we were so busy talking about the bitter cold temperatures over the weekend in the New York, New Jersey area and the super hot temperatures over the weekend in LA. And that is, it is National Pizza Day.
I
I know
saw
last
that. It
week we were
popped up.
yeah, we were talking about the fact that we had the Pizza Bowl in New Jersey last weekend.
Hmm.
This weekend, it is National Pizza Day, today, I should say. And we will be speaking to the head of the New Jersey Pizza Alliance coming up in the next hour about a little controversy, as they say in Britain, controversy, or something like that. Because Monmouth County and our friend Tom Arnone, who has been on the
Hmm.
show, has declared Monmouth County the pizza capital of New Jersey with nobody's permission. So, ooh, them's fighting words in New Jersey. I mean, in
Yes, they
other
are.
states,
Oh,
you'd
they
be like, what are you
certainly
talking
are.
about? Here, that's like Taylor ham pork roll or gravy versus sauce. That is a
Well,
put 'em up, you put 'em up. That's what that is here. So we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But first, though,
okay.
a
All
check
right.
of
That'll
the
be
stars.
exciting. It's hard to keep a pizza warm when it's this cold outside. You just look like frozen pizzas all around, especially with the air temperature down around zero, wind chills making it feel colder than that. But there are some milder days ahead, even out west where you've enjoyed all of that mild weather for the last few days. But look at the clouds that come in later tomorrow night into Wednesday. You see this rain take over, even right down toward LA County. A lot of this cloud cover lasts through the better part of this week, even into Thursday and Friday. Probably see that clear out just in time for the weekend. Out east, there's a little bit of clearing as well for today. Nice and sunny, dry, and still chilly as the high pressure's in control. But then we get a little bit of cloud cover tomorrow, maybe a quick passing flurry, and perhaps a few showers as another cold front runs through. That will drop our temperatures just a little bit, but will be closer to average day by day as we head into the rest of this week and really the rest of the month. So take it through the last week of February. Look at all this warm air headed across the Northeast, and it will feel very pleasant, even down south. Above average temperatures, that will look very nice. Slightly higher chances of rainfall going into the end of the week and the end of the month, that is. But overall, it's looking much better for most of the country, Ken, with warmer weather so we can finally get out of this deep freeze.
Amen to that. But I'll tell you what, the nice thing about having the deep freeze though, right now, like this, I overcook. I don't know about you, but you and your wife, I tend to cocoon cook when it's this cold out. So I make like food for 40 people, even though there's only like two of us. And
Okay.
because there's no room in the freezer, what's great is when it's 8 degrees out, you can put everything in a chest.
Oh,
Just make
just
sure
leave it
it's all
outside.
closed so
Sure.
animals don't get to
Yep.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Put it out the back door, and it's like the
Yes.
best deep freeze in the world. Just make sure it's not in the sun and it doesn't become 40 degrees later, or else you're going to die like botulism. Just my little tip. Okay, that's my Betty Crocker for the day. We will check back, sir. We appreciate you very, very much. It is a very bitter cold, 8 degrees right now in Trenton, 9 degrees northern New Jersey, 9 degrees in Cape May, and 5 degrees in Vineland. Very cold. West Coast Los Angeles, 57 degrees, 59 degrees in beautiful San Diego. Looking at traffic right now, we have a disabled vehicle 295 northbound north of exit 52 Columbus Road, Mansfield, with the left lane of 3 lanes closed. We have a crash now, and that is on 295 northbound south of exit 29 Route 30 Haddon Heights with the left lane closed. Disabled truck, New Jersey Turnpike Western spur southbound south of interchange 15W, which is 280 in Kearney with the right lane blocked. And we have an issue now on I-280, water main break. That's impacting traffic in both directions at exit 11, which is through the city of Orange in both directions. We have a disabled truck on the Turnpike Western spur. Let's see, 15W, we just reported that. Forgive me, that just updated. Crash on Marlin Street southbound at Distribution Street in Newark with the right lane blocked, and a water main break on 206 both directions. Amwell Road, Hillsborough Township, right lane is closed. Water main break on 36 northbound south of Linden Ave and Highlands with all lanes closed. Down pole on Route 36 northbound north of Thompson Avenue. And that is, let's see, sorry about that. That is in Middletown with the right lane and right shoulder closed. And finally, we have a water main break on Route 35 northbound south of Cherry Tree Farm Road in Middletown, the right lane is closed in the right shoulder as well. Just a mess. 6 water main breaks. That tells you everything about the temperatures. In terms of the Hudson River crossings right now, Lincoln and Holland are both reporting 25 minutes in. GWB upper and lower levels, both on the heavy side now. Look at that. No motion at all. On the upper level on the right, on the lower level, barely moving. It's now going to cost you 45 minutes in. West Coast we go. All we have right now is two things, two crashes. One is located in Newhall. It's Sepulveda Boulevard at Roxford Street. And we have one located in West LA on I-10 at South Robertson Boulevard. E.B. Wentink is a culture and compliance strategist who spent years working for New Jersey companies developing compliance programs, helping to ensure they are in compliance with all federal and local laws. What used to be something that the GM just kept an eye on now requires a whole department or at least a full-time person to keep everything running smoothly, to avoid lawsuits and other issues in terms of getting notices from the state. Well, as we head full force into 2026, there are certain things expected of employers and employees, and we say good morning, Edie Wentink.
Good morning, Ken. So happy to be here. How are you in this cold weather?
Always good to have. And yeah, really. And for the record, Evie and I are friends for years and years and years. Very, very good friends. And Evie, the big thing now is, of course, AI, artificial intelligence. It's no longer something that we think of as coming down the line or in the future, but something that is very much here. And we're sort of in the wild, wild west period of it. What should companies make sure they do, right, in order to maintain control over the direction of the use of AI in offices?
So, first of all, I want to say, according to a survey recently done, there is a readiness gap, and 44% of leaders believe that they are not ready for AI. So, what you need to do is create a plan, an AI governance plan, which means assigning ownership to a person, working across the entire organization, not just with one department like IT, but you need to touch with finance and HR and all the various departments' operations. Then what you also need to do is understand where employees may want to use AI and where they're already using it, and prioritize your risks. That would be the initial plan of, taking a snapshot and laying the plan out first is what they need to do. Then they need to decide how they actually want to use AI and create an AI policy, AI use policy, and understand what data comes in, because that will be the area where they will probably get most in trouble. So having a data governance policy is also very important.
It's funny you say all that because I do have a friend who owns a small company, and he said, I fault my employees for using AI and I fault them for not using AI. So what are you talking about? He says, well, you want to use AI, but it has its place. And he said, it's one thing to have the AI system write an outline, but don't submit that as the final thing. I applaud you if you let it do the dirty work and the grunge work of creating a whole outline. But now you have to show your human expertise and come in and correct it and tweak it and make it navigable and understandable. Then that's how you use AI. But just asking AI to do the work for you is lazy, and not using AI at all is ignorant. So I found that interesting that it sounds like it's like you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. What he was saying is you need to use AI, but you need to use it correctly.
I 100% agree. It's education foremost, get in touch with companies. Like I love using AI for certain things, but I want to know more about it. And through an organization that's called For Humanity, I'm learning a lot about AI and going into the space of AI ethics and AI ethics auditing. One thing through there that I learned is AI cannot decipher, when it's all written on the internet, whether it's opinion or a fact. Just think about that. It takes it all as one and the same. So like you say, if people get lazy and just take what it is, then it may be wrong because it's someone's opinion and not a fact. So critical thinking is really important. Thinking about AI hallucinations, which most people who just use AI for little things don't think about, or that there is such a thing as in the AI world, they call it a model drift, because AI moves right as it gets the information, and it can be different and not always correct. So critical thinking is very important. Yes, it's good as a tool, but you can't expect it to do everything. Just think
Mhm.
about the chatbots, and when you get to, and if you have a specific problem, AI is telling you certain outputs, but it's not necessarily solving your problem. So having human in the loop is very, very important. And another thing I wanted to add,
Sure.
when companies want to make sure that they protect themselves, they really need to understand who out of their vendors is providing their AI services or including AI in their services, and what their policies are like too. It's all of that is very important.
Very interesting. Never even thought about that myself. That's brilliant. And there have been a number of stories of major corporations getting hacked in recent months, and it seems many hackers are utilizing the tools of AI to more easily hack into major companies. We have about a minute and a half left. So, what should every company, small or large, do to ensure that their clients' data is safe?
So you have to have your policies in place to prevent from penetrating your online systems, your IT systems. When it comes to AI, you would handle it as any other risk. You see, where it is, and you try to prevent it. But like I just said, most of those risks come from vendors and third parties that you're dealing with. So understanding what their policies are and how are they protecting themselves from those risks is very important, you know.
Excellent. Yes, that just recently happened with the folks on Instagram. It was a third-party vendor, and unfortunately, their security wasn't as good, and people were able to hack in to some people.
Yeah.
Apparently, Instagram though was able to nip it at the bud, but nonetheless, that's scary. That's a lot of personal information. Evie, what's a website for people to get more information from you?
So it's ethicaledgeexperts.com. And I welcome anyone to
Ethical
reach
Edge.
out and ask any questions.
Excellent. And it's again, ethicaledgeexperts.com. I love it. I check it out all the time. Culture and compliance strategist, Evie Wenting, my longtime friend. We love you. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much for having me on. Thank you.
You bet. It is 58 minutes past the hour. Those of you in California, stay tuned for more news and information on LACA. If you're watching on the East Coast, we'll be right back with our New Jersey mornings.
Play it like the New York Sirens. Live in the spotlight. Etch your name in lights. Embrace the noise. And when it calls you, turn it up. Get louder. Play it like they'll hear us everywhere. Because this is our team. New York Sirens. Play it big.
Yeah. A very good morning to you. It is 8 a.m. Monday, February 9th, 2026. Welcome to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato. Phone lines open 888-658-0234. Mostly sunny today. Highs in the low 30s. Sounds like a heat wave. Then bitter cold again tonight. Meteorologist Mike Favetta with a full Garden State forecast.
This weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts, serving all of New Jersey with 13 locations.
All right, Mike, just to get in the spirit of National Pizza Day.
Okay. Whoa, that was fast. Impressive.
Yes, sir. Made it last night. Sausage,
Ah,
peppers, and onions. Got to do it right.
very.
Yeah, it is National Pizza Day. But for those of you who think it's too early for that, Ken, it is also National Bagel and Lox Day. And I could go for good bagel and lox too. I make homemade bagels. If you can make homemade
Sounds
pizza dough, you
delicious.
can make homemade bagel dough. It's not that far off. It is different, but it
Okay.
is not that far off. Very good. Well, I'll have to make it for you guys. I will make homemade bagels. Delish.
It's all
Anyway,
about
we're gonna
carbo
have
loading this week, right? Because it's gotta add some meat to the bones, especially with the cold, right?
too cold, too cold. And we're going to speak to the
Mm-hmm.
head of the New Jersey Pizza Alliance about a controversy in just a few minutes. But in the meantime, it's gonna warm up just a little tiny bit, right?
There are some milder days ahead. Yeah, we'll get just above the freezing mark. I mean, that's still considered a warm up, right? After another morning with a cold weather advisory for all of New Jersey. So we start off very chilly. It stays cold with the air temperature right now actually down in the single digits. Even down the shore, 10. Pretty common number across the state, with a wind chill that makes it feel like below zero across many locations, even up in Hackensack, -3 degrees for you. So with a gusty breeze this morning, upwards of about 10 to 15 miles per hour, there is a little bit of a milder day. Hey, we're running about 10 degrees warmer than this time yesterday, so baby steps in the right direction. Clear sky all day today, even heading out to get your hearing checked perhaps at an Audio Nova clinic location. Up there in Bergen County from Montville, where your high gets to 30 degrees, even down toward Monroe and Toms River, upper 20s. We'll finally see these temperatures return to just normal by later to this week, especially as soon as Wednesday. The Futurecast keeps temperatures feeling like they're in the teens throughout tomorrow. Quick passing sprinkle, perhaps late tomorrow afternoon. And then another round of chilly weather, but not as harsh. We'll actually be in the 20s overnight, climbing back into the 30s by the afternoon. And then, yes, we get a little bit of a dip down into the teens and single digits. But again, it's the warm up on the way that is something to look forward to, especially with highs that approach near average by Wednesday. To have something that will be near 40 degrees, Ken, will feel lovely. First time it's been like that in at least a week.
Yeah, this is just pathetically cold. Just no need for it cold. This is even polar bears say it's too cold for this. So, when that happens.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. All right, Mike, we'll check back with you, my friend. It is 9 degrees right now in Trenton. It's 11 in northern New Jersey. Wow, the sunrise is really creating balminess. It is 10 degrees right now in Cape May and 9 degrees in Vineland. Very, very cold. And what we have in terms of traffic is a crash on Route 3 eastbound by Park Avenue in Rutherford with the ramp lane closed. Let us go to Route 21 right now. We have flashing lights, Pam tells me. There it is, right through the tree. You can see the flashing light. So what that is a crash northbound 21 by Chester Avenue, Newark. 2 right lanes of the 3 lanes now closed, causing that little delay. Everybody kind of bottlenecking it off to the left. So just beware of that. We have a disabled vehicle on 295 northbound, north of exit 52, Columbus Road, Mansfield Township, with the right shoulder closed, and a disabled tractor trailer also on 295 southbound, exit 61, Arena Drive, Hamilton, with the ramp lane closed there. Another issue on 295. What a mess. A lot of ice on 295, I think. Northbound south of exit 29, Route 30, Haddon Heights, with the left lane closed. We have a disabled truck right now, and this is on the western spur of the New Jersey Turnpike southbound, south of interchange 15W, which is 280 in Kearney, with the right lane blocked. And we have water main break 280 both directions west of exit 11, Freeway Drive east-west in Orange City. The right lane is closed westbound, right shoulder closed eastbound. Water main break 206 both directions, Amwell Road in Hillsborough, with the right lane of 2 lanes closed there. A water main break on 36 northbound south of Linden Ave and Highlands, with all lanes closed, and we have a down pole. This is reported. They keep updating in front of me. Excuse me, folks. Down pole now. This is Route 36 northbound north of Thompson Ave in Middletown, with the right lane and right shoulder closed. Just a lot of traffic through the area. Another water main break. Route 35 northbound south of Cherry Tree Farm Road, Middletown. One right lane and right shoulder are closed. Your Hudson River crossings right now. Holland is 25 to 30 into Manhattan. Lincoln is 35 minutes. GWB upper and lower levels very heavy right now. 45 minutes upper level on the right, lower level on the left. Well, Super Bowl 60 is one for the record books, and the winner is the Seattle Seahawks, dominating the New England Patriots with a 29-13 win after holding them scoreless through the first three quarters. Seattle's offense was mostly powered by running back Kenneth Walker III and kicker Jason Myers, who made 5 field goals, a Super Bowl record. Walker III received the Super Bowl MVP award at the end of the night. New Jersey's own Charlie Puth performed the national anthem at Super Bowl 60, and he brought down the house. I think even he was overtaken by the drama of that, having the overfly and all. And Charlie Puth, by the way, New Jersey, born and bred, the singer delivered the performance in signature Puth style, singing that beautiful rendition of the national anthem. He played the piano himself live. For those who don't realize, Charlie Puth lives in Rumson, New Jersey. Meanwhile, a man who was very talented, so it's sad that he did this, Bad Bunny, decided it was appropriate to sit through the national anthem. You know, the same country that gave him all the freedom and success he enjoys, that made him the most successful musician on the planet right now, gave him hundreds of millions of dollars. Come on, Bad Bunny, not cool. Not cool. Meanwhile, an estimated 30 million people said, screw you, Bad Bunny, and went over to the alternative halftime show. It starred Kid Rock, hosted by Turning Point USA. 100 million viewers did watch Bad Bunny's halftime show, but that was down 33 million viewers from last year when Kendrick Lamar kicked butt. That was last year's show. Bad Bunny's obnoxious anti-American attitude drove a lot of viewers away. Think about it, 20 to 30% of all Super Bowl viewers, instead of just changing a channel, they had to go to a streaming device, and they did that in order to send a message to NBC, the networks in general, and Bad Bunny. And that says a lot. The network execs should take note of that. 30% of all viewers tuned out for 15 minutes and then came back. Think about it. Other news now, the Gateway Tunnel project is on again for now. A federal judge has granted the New York Attorney General's office motion for a temporary restraining order to prohibit the shutdown of the project. New Jersey and New York sued to make the Trump administration release billions in frozen funding. The action comes as construction on the railway wound down on Friday as the project was waiting for emergency cash. The project would repair the train tunnel that connects New Jersey and New York. It was damaged during Superstorm Sandy. It also proposes to construct an entirely new tunnel to help accommodate the train traffic that brings over 200,000 commuters and thousands of tons of goods back and forth under the Hudson River every day. No word on whether the administration will obey the ruling or if they might appeal it. Maybe now, though, Governor Cheryl of New Jersey, who talks tough but doesn't really put her money where her mouth is, will go after her buddy. The mainstream media isn't talking about this, but you know that New York Governor Kathy Hochul owes hundreds of millions to New Jersey. They haven't kicked in their share in New York, but you don't hear a word from Governor Cheryl. Instead, she's just whining about the federal government, which, by the way, has a right to hold that funding because it is grants and loans. It is not the money that was, yes, money was appropriated by Congress. That money was given. That's how they got this much work done. What a lot of mainstream media doesn't understand, because they haven't looked into it. I have, and I have friends in Washington who have. Literally tens of billions that we're talking about that was frozen was not the money appropriated by Congress. It was money under the Biden administration given as grants and loans, and the next president has the right to say no. That's what's going on right now. So we'll see where that goes. We do need this project done, only I think there has to be cooperation between New York, New Jersey, and the federal government. You can't just stand there, the Kathy Hochul and Mikey Sherrill are doing, and say, we don't like you, now give us the money. It doesn't work that way, ladies. Act like leaders. It is 8:09 now, and you know you have bad eyesight, yet you continue to drive. A new study shows you're not alone. Nearly 2 million Garden Staters know they have poor eyesight, too poor to drive, yet they drive anyway. The survey of over 3,000 people by a company called lenspricer.com showed 44% of all drivers in the state knowingly avoid eye tests because they're afraid they won't pass. Isn't that amazing? And we're not the worst state in the survey, by the way. We're actually in the middle of the pack. The dubious honor of being the worst state goes to Arkansas. Oh, and get this, nationwide, a full 20% of all drivers say even if their eyesight gets worse, they'll just keep driving. Pretty scary. 8:11 right now, and the search for 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie is now in its 9th day. President Trump told reporters investigators may be nearing definitive answers in the case. Meanwhile, the FBI is offering a $50,000 reward for information on Guthrie's disappearance. Savannah Guthrie posted a new video to Instagram on Saturday saying her family had received a message and was pleading for her mother's return. Investigators were seen scoping the septic system on the property and conducting tests to look for blood. The second deadline to transfer $6 million in Bitcoin to the alleged kidnapper is now set for 5 o'clock local time today. And you got to check this video out. The 2026 Winter Olympics began with all eyes on three-time American medalist Lindsey Vonn. Amazing talent. But the excitement was quickly dampened as Vonn suffered a serious crash in the women's downhill, breaking her leg in the process. The 41-year-old was competing with a torn ACL at the time. Vonn struck a gate with her arm and twisted. She then tumbled. Vonn could be heard shouting in pain. She was helicoptered to treatment and into surgery. Vonn is the only U.S. woman ever to win downhill gold. She was trying to become the oldest alpine skier to medal at the games. It doesn't look like she's going to be able to make it back at this point. If not only in this Olympics, but probably never. Still one of the greatest skiers in history, and we should be very proud of her as Americans. Coming up on 8:13, when we come back, New Jersey arguably has the best pizza in the United States. But this Monmouth County poll, apparently, or not even a poll, it's just an opinion. They had the best pizza in New Jersey, they say. The director of Monmouth County Commissioners seems to think it does. But no one has officially certified that but Tom Arnone, the man himself. Well, the head of the New Jersey Pizza Alliance will join us in a few minutes to talk about it. Sunny today, highs low 30s, another cold night tonight. The full Garden State forecast when we return. You're watching on New Jersey Mornings. We'll come back.
Play it like the New York Sirens. Live in the spotlight. Etch your name in lights. Embrace the noise. And when it calls you, turn it up. Get louder. Play it like they'll hear us everywhere. Because this is our team. New York Sirens. Play it big.
Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings for your Monday. It is 8:15, mostly sunny, highs low 30s. Another bitter cold night tonight, though. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the Garden State forecast for you.
This weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts, serving all of New Jersey with 13 locations.
So, Mike, it is National Pizza Day, and with a name like
Yeah.
Favetta, I'm a little disappointed that you don't have a slice in front of you. So I made a pie
Hold
last
on.
night before I. Oh, ooh, shut
Well,
my
it may
mouth.
not be pizza, but it's the other National Day, the Lox and Bagel Day.
Bagel and lox.
Bagel and
The
Lox.
two. All
So
right. Well,
thank you for the
you can't
advice.
take a bite because you're about to do 3 minutes of weather. So I'll just do that.
So
Oh,
you can
sorry.
enjoy a little margarita in the
Mm.
morning. Good morning to you, Ken. We've got some beautiful weather on tap for this week, considering it won't be as harshly cold. So the sun is out. Yes, it's cold. It stays chilly with highs today only making it to around the freezing mark across many locations, or maybe just shy of there toward Point Pleasant at 28 degrees. But the sun back will at least make it look a little bit better, even as a gusty breeze blows from the west throughout this week, promoting a little bit of a warm up. We get above freezing every afternoon beyond today, with a little bit of a dip by Friday. It's actually milder this weekend, and then next week we'll be in the 40s. So we just have a little bit more of this harsh chill to get through, even with the wind chill that's around this morning into tomorrow, making it feel back again like the teens for Wednesday morning. I think by Thursday and Friday, briefly the single digits, and then back into positive territory, getting above zero into this weekend. So with the clear sky that's around right now, we stay dry through today. Could be a little quick sprinkle that comes in tomorrow. You'll see that on the future cast, with likely a light round of flurry activity that comes on by tomorrow afternoon. You see it here. This is the leading edge of some very cold, dry air that takes over across New Jersey and might even lead to another little quick shower of rain by tomorrow evening. When that pushes through, it's a drier day on Wednesday. Could be some clouds around with some flurry bursts, but throughout the rest of the week, there's a milder trend that takes us into the weekend, with highs this weekend in the mid and upper 30s, and that could change some of that snow to rain by Sunday, limiting accumulations. It's one to watch. We're still 6 days away from that system, but keeping an eye on what will happen by Sunday. But I think Saturday on Valentine's Day, we're doing okay. We're looking good, Ken.
All right, Valentine's, or please, can we, is it, it's like fingers on a chalkboard when I hear people say Valentine's or even worse, Valentine's Day. You are an
I like to throw it
adult.
in there and
Get
say,
your
how
mouth.
about Saint Valentine's Day? Because then they're like, oh, wait, what? Yeah, it's a feast day of a saint. So yeah, there you go.
Yes, that's how it started. It started in the Catholic Church. Go
Right.
check it out. Yes, but it's not Valentine and it's not Valwim time. It is Valentine. Think Valentino. We could say it in Italian. We don't say Valentino. We say Valentino. What would it? I don't know how it's. I guess it started with little kids like saying Paschetti, and they never grew up and grew out of it. But it drives me insane. I'm sorry, I'm wasting time now. Oy. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Pam just said maybe you should ask people not to say Valentine's. Thank you, Pam. We'll have a whole grammar show on that. But anyway, thank you, Mike. We appreciate you,
You
sir,
bet.
as always. Bitter cold, 9 degrees. Mike's gonna go enjoy his bagel and lox now, and I'll have to wait on my next bite of my. That's, normally I just do a margarita. Last night I had some sausage that I made homemade. Yeah, I do. I'm crazy, and some peppers and onions. So I kind of made that little combo. It was yummy. Sorry. High hydration dough to 75% for those in the know. All right, we check our traffic. We have a disabled truck now on the Bayonne Bridge, northbound mid-span. That's causing a mess with the right lane block, causing a backup right into Bayonne. Let's take a look at, this is 280. 280 has a disabled vehicle eastbound at exit 15, Route 21 in Newark. The left lane of 2 lanes closed, and look at the mess that it's causing right there. Now, think about that. This is on 280 at 21. Now we'll pull back out, Pam, and because I'll let Pam get the other shot. There's another accident on 21 at 280. Two separate accidents, both on adjoining roadways. So one is 280 at 21. This is 21 at 280. They right where they meet. I guess everybody has to get to that intersection. So we have an issue here. And this one, 21 at 280. This is the northbound side, Chester Ave in Newark. 2 right lanes of the 3 lanes closed. Just an absolute mess. We go over to the Garden State Parkway. We have a crash on the GSP southbound north of exit 91BA, which is Chambers Bridge Road in Wall. All lanes open, but there's a big delay through there. We have a disabled bus now on 280 eastbound west of Kearney, Route 508. The right lane is closed there. We now have a crash on Route 3 eastbound Park Avenue in Rutherford. The ramp lane is closed, but it's not causing any kind of delay on the highway, fortunately. And there's a disabled vehicle right now on 295. That is, where did it go? Sorry, they just refreshed on me, folks. That is northbound, south of exit 29, Route 30 in Haddon Heights. Left lane is closed there. On and on it goes. I'm just going to cut it short because literally I would do another 5 minutes of traffic. A lot of ice causing a lot of accidents and a lot of water main breaks. 6 water main breaks that we know of right now throughout the region. Give yourselves extra time, as they say, pack your patience. Hudson River crossings right now, Lincoln and Holland both reporting 25 to 30, GWB now 40 to 45. Take a look at the upper and lower levels. Nearly stopped, upper level on the right, lower level on the left. At 8:21, well, I can't stop saying it. Today is my favorite day of the year. This is Christmas for me. No offense, Lord. National Pizza Day. Many consider the pizza capital of America to be right here in New Jersey. In fact, some of the best pizza connoisseurs from throughout the tri-state who used to swear by Brooklyn pizza, including the guy I'm about to have on, now swear that New Jersey pizza has Brooklyn beat. All right, it's right down to the wire on that. Either way, you can't ignore both have great pizza. That said, there are thousands of pizzerias in the Garden State. So who has the best pizza? Well, the argument gets settled during the annual New Jersey Pizza Bowl, where actual people taste and vote for the best pizza in the state. And this year, Bucky's Pizzeria in Clifton won best pizza, hands down. But some folks in Monmouth County, our friend Tom Arnone, who is a good friend and a nice man, they've gone rogue, proclaiming the coastal county to be New Jersey's real pizza capital. To talk about why this actually matters is Anthony Pizzi, who is the president of New Jersey Pizza Alliance. Good morning, Anthony. How are you, sir?
Doing good, Ken. I saw that cheese pull 8 o'clock this morning. Looked great. Look at that. Look at that. Happy National Pizza Day,
Anthony.
Ken.
I'm a Cavone. I got to eat. I shouldn't chew and talk. I have to, if I may say so. That is Bella Napoli tomatoes. I mean, you know all this stuff. I have Bianco de Napoli rather tomatoes on that, grande cheese, and I made homemade sausage. And I have a pizza oven in the house that gets up to 850 degrees. So I got that nice leoparding. Now it's cold, but I got leoparding and everything. I'm very proud of myself. Sorry, I had to. But it's important that you just don't make a proclamation that you have the best pizza, because in New Jersey, it's a serious thing. It's like having a denomination in Italy proclaiming Parmesan cheese, right? You don't just say, well, we have Parmesan cheese too, because it kind of takes away from the seriousness of the fact that there are serious pizza competitors in the state.
Well, something that really is interesting, with the NJ Pizza Alliance, me starting this back in 2024, the NJ Pizza Alliance was actually born in Monmouth County when we were partnered with NJ.com for the NJ Pizza Festival. And that all came from influencers, shop owners, and sponsors coming together. And we started to, do events, pizza meetups. And, I got to learn more about Monmouth County and the shops that are there. I mean, Ken, there's a lot of very good pizzerias in Monmouth County. And I think many people don't realize where those lines blur. But when you really look at a map and you start mapping out where these shops are, the proclamation, makes a lot of sense in some cases, but it's difficult to put that out there against a lot of North Jersey pizzerias. And last year we saw a lot of contenders pop up. NJ Pizza Alliance, we had an amazing event called NJ Pizza Jam in September. And our top two was Prima Pizza Kitchen in Somerville and Spinaccio Pizza in North Haledon. And we just saw with this last Pizza Bowl with Guy Madsen and the Jersey Pizza Joints, Bucky's Pizza came out, and now they're the best pizza in New Jersey for 2026. So, it's difficult to put your finger on one place in the state, but it is also hard at the same time to say, wait, they don't know what they're talking about. There's a lot of really good pizzerias down in Monmouth County.
I would say this. The worst pizza in New Jersey is still better than the best pizza in Iowa. I'll put it that way. We have free, and I come from New York. I come from lower New York State. My family owned pizzerias. I used to work in them. New Jersey, I think, I know we had this debate at the Pizza Bowl about Brooklyn and New Jersey. All right,
Yes.
either I'll eat either one and be very happy. New Jersey has
Yeah.
great pizza. Great pizza. You can't take that away. But I think all we want to do, and correct me if I'm wrong, is it's fine. Monmouth County may very well have the best pizza. David Portnoy from Barstool Sports gave which one? Gave Federici's Pizza and Freehold
Yeah.
an 8.8, which for him, he doesn't like to give anyone like a 9. He doesn't like to give, so an 8.8 is phenomenal. So I understand Tom Arnone saying, "Hey, we got the best pizza in the whole state." I get it, but you can't just make the proclamation until we vet it out, right? And they may very well be the county with the best pizza in the whole state, but it's a matter of making it official, right?
Right. And I think the other thing we have to look at, I think a lot of people I've talked to about this, they look at it like it's just about the best pizza, the best tasting pizza. I think a lot of people see it that way, but it's also going to be about the operator themselves too, the owners. I think one thing that makes Monmouth County so special is they have essentially created a capital right now because the shop owners are working together, the influencers are working together. Now the state is getting involved, the local government's getting involved, and the media's involved. And I think when you have all of that, at least from my experience being in New Haven this last November, that's what I noticed when I went there that they're doing. They have everybody involved. So I think if there's a question of that for North Jersey and we want to step up, the local government has to step up. The media companies have to step up. The influencers have to step up, and the shop owners need to start working together. And once you have that community, put together, it's going to turn into an incredible, pizza capital, a centralized place for pizza. But we reached out to Monmouth County officials over the weekend. The NJ Pizza Alliance. We've offered any support that they need in any way. Again, I think it's a great thing for the shops. Shops have called me all weekend about this, and all the shops in Monmouth County are extremely excited. Obviously, the North Jersey shops are like, "What the heck is this?" So I think there's more to be seen. But I think in any case, we want to be supportive of local pizzerias in whatever aspect we can. So we're offering the local government any resources that they need from us.
Anthony, what's the New Jersey Pizza Alliance on Instagram? NJ Pizza Alliance?
That's correct. Yeah. So it's the NJ Pizza Alliance. We post every day, every hour, and keep an eye on it and come check us out.
Excellent. Well, and again, it's a serious thing. Look, in Italy, what they did was they have a trademark, a registered trademark. You can't say Parmigiano Reggiano unless you are authorized by the local community. You get like a certification. And they do that in New Haven, Connecticut. They do that in other places. They do that Champagne. You can't call it Champagne unless the government certifies you're from the Champagne Valley in France. And I know it's to some people they say it's pizza. It's a serious thing. And you can't claim number one status unless you get there by a vote. So it should be formalized. But you know what? Let's start the movement right here and now. Anthony, we appreciate you. Anthony Pizzi, president of New Jersey Pizza Alliance. Come back again, my friend. We could make this a regular thing. We thank you for coming on this morning.
You got it, Ken. Thank you so much for having me. It was an honor.
You bet, likewise. And when we come back, a legend in the music industry talks about what it was like behind the scenes during the production of some of the most iconic albums. This is on New Jersey Mornings. We're coming right back.
Play it like the New York Sirens. Live in the spotlight. Etch your name in lights. Embrace the noise. And when it calls you, turn it up. Get louder. Play it like they'll hear us everywhere. Because this is our team. New York Sirens. Play it big.
Very good morning, 8:31, Monday, February 9th. Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato. Phone lines open at 888-658-0234. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the Garden State forecast.
This weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts, serving all of New Jersey with 13 locations.
I hope your bagel and lox was delish today on National
You
Bagel and
know,
Lox
Ken,
Day.
it hit the spot. I hope your pizza was just the same because with
It
you need
was.
something to keep you warm on a day like today, whether it be the hot cup of coffee or tea or cocoa, whatever floats your boat. It's got to stay warm on a day with the cold weather around. Not as harshly cold as it has been, but there's still all of the snowpack that's around that's actually showing up on the visible satellite. You see all these little dots here just in the last few frames right there across the western sections of the state. That's the snow reflecting off of the satellite. So with all of the cold weather around today, we start off with temperatures holding in the teens, warming into the upper 20s, maybe get above freezing briefly, but better chances to see those warmer temperatures by later on this week. Wow, the minus 14-degree record set back in 1934. Well, good news is we're far from that, especially with the milder weather ahead. As opposed to the cloud cover that we had around at some parts this weekend, it'll be mostly sunny today. You can thank the high pressure for that. We stay nice and dry into tonight, and tomorrow has a few extra clouds with a weak front that passes through. Might get a quick flurry, maybe a sprinkle down in southern New Jersey, but it's another gusty breeze that takes over on Wednesday, reinforcing some clouds and some cooler weather midweek. And then I think we see a turn for milder weather by Friday into the weekend. So much mild air that it may actually promote a little bit more warmth that could change some of the snow that's forecast to some rain. We'll talk about that in a sec. As far as the overnight lows getting above freezing for the first time this weekend, it'll look a little bit nicer. Not on the 7-day just yet, but I think as we head into next week, some of that milder weather comes in. We're above freezing every afternoon starting on Wednesday, and then by Sunday, you see a little bit of that snow that changes over to rain at times. So it's one to watch, but it's warm enough down in southern New Jersey that it's an all rain event by Sunday. So times are changing, and it looks to be a little hint of spring in the forecast, Ken. We'll talk more about that coming up in the next weather update.
Don't tease me. Don't tease me unless you mean it. I'm going to hold you to it.
It looks really good next week. I'm excited about it. So yeah.
Good. And by the way, I made my promise that I will bake you homemade bagels, and I am going to keep my word. We used to make bagels too. One of the many businesses my dad had, because I think he had ADHD. So he would like open a business for about 5 to 7 years, get tired of it, and start something totally different. And at one point, he had a deli, and I used to make homemade bagels. So I make homemade bagels, I make homemade pizza as a result. So this is both, for those who don't realize, National Bagel Day, Bagel and Lox Day, and National Pizza Day. I mean, it's like just stay home and smile and eat the carbs and stay warm. That's all you got to do. All right, Mike, thank you very much, sir. Appreciate you very much. It is now 9 degrees in Trenton. It's 11 degrees northern New Jersey, 10 degrees in Cape May, and 10 degrees in Vineland. In terms of traffic, we do have quite a few things to report. We're just going to give you a few because there's just so many. Right now, let's go to 280 eastbound. West of Route 508 in Kearney, there's a disabled bus. You can kind of see there. You see that bus sitting there? So it's not causing massive delays. But nonetheless to report, because depending on the time of the day, that does tend to build up a little bit in that area. We have a disabled vehicle, Garden State Parkway southbound, just north of 136 Stiles Street in Cranford. Right lane is blocked. Disabled truck right in the midspan of the Bayonne Bridge northbound. Right lane is blocked now. Another issue on the Garden State southbound north of exit 91BA, which is Chambers Bridge Road and Wall. All lanes are open, but that's causing a big slowdown. Disabled vehicle 295 northbound north of exit 52 Columbus Road, Mansfield. Right shoulder is closed, and we have a disabled tractor trailer now 295 southbound exit 61 Arena Drive in Hamilton. The ramp lane is closed. Over to Route 21 too, a crash was just cleared, but still residual delays, and that is in the area of Chester Avenue in Newark. The two right lanes were blocked. They just reopened, but again, some residual delays as a result. Hudson River Crossings, Lincoln Tunnel right now, 35 minutes in, 30 minutes at the Holland. GWB upper and lower, kind of heavy, 40 to 45. Upper level is on the right, lower on the left, and you can see the delays. Just give yourselves extra time. 8:35 is our time. And if you have ever listened to a song and thought, that sounds incredible, chances are that you have one of this new series guests to thank. Studio Confidential is bringing the stories behind some of the greatest recordings of all time to the New York City stage from the Rolling Stones and Steely Dan to Taylor Swift and Prince and many, many more. The series officially opens this Saturday night, Valentine's Day night, at the Sheen Center for Thought and Culture. I used to go to NYU, so I know where this place is. It's on Bleecker Street in Manhattan. Cool place. Elliot Shiner, one of the most legendary engineers and producers in music history, with credits that include Steely Dan, Van Morrison, Fleetwood Mac, the Eagles, on and on, even the theme from The Godfather. We say good morning to you, Elliot. I was a disc jockey in New York and suburbs, so I know exactly who you are. A lot of people know all of your work, but may not know the name. When I saw that we had you on, I kind of fanned out, I must confess. So it's an honor to have you on, sir, for all the work you've done and how you've influenced and affected the music industry. Good morning to you, Elliot.
Morning, Ken. How are you?
I'm great. I'm very excited to be talking to you. And Studio Confidential sounds like a very cool place, event rather, for people like me and people in the music industry to come and nerd out. Am I wrong? It sounds like the greatest place to come and see a music panel of pros like yourself.
You're totally right. I mean, through 50 years of making records, and I think what's happened to us over 50 years is we have these amazing stories to tell. And what happens in the studio now is so unlike what we did. I mean, we have, for example, I worked with an artist where he had a studio in what used to be a fur warehouse. And at some point, he had a disagreement with the people that I was working for, and I ended up locked in a safe, like a big
What?
safe. Yeah,
How did this
crazy stuff.
happen?
Okay, it was a documentary for a company that was interested in an artist. They wanted him to speak for the product they were making, and we recorded in New York. If you were back in New York and you were DJ, you must know A&R recording.
Of
And
course, yes.
we were working there, and we never got everything finished. The agency called me up, asked me if I would fly down to St. Louis and finish the dates down there at his studio. I agree. I go down there. He's actually waiting for me. It was in the days when you could meet somebody at the gate. And he met me
Uh-huh.
at the gate, and we went off to his place. I stayed the night at his house, and then the next morning we went into St. Louis. I come across his studio that's looks like it was made in the early 50s. Half of it didn't work, so I had to get all this stuff together just to do a couple of guitar overdubs with him.
Oh my God.
And finally get together, the agency gave me a check for the amount of money that he was owed. And I handed him the check, and he looked at this and he says, "What is this?" Oh, I said, "I think it's what you're owed from the agency." And he said, "This is money." And he just takes the check and he rips it up. He says, "I want money now. You're not leaving here until I get money. I need cash." So I said, "Okay, let me call him up." I call up the agency, and I tell him, "Look, he's really unhappy with this check. He wants cash." And they didn't say anything for a second. They said, "Well, okay, we'll try and get it to him by tomorrow." I said, "No, I can't leave here until he gets cash. So you have to do it today."
I love
They
it.
agreed.
I
They wired the money through Western Union, and as he was getting ready to pick up the money, He had a big, it looked like a bank safe, but it was for furs. And he puts his arm around my shoulder and he's taking me out. And he says, look, I'm going to go pick up this money. And while you're here, I want you to stay in here. And I looked at it. You want me to stay in the safe? Yeah, I want you to stay here. Okay. So I get in. But the worst thing was he closed the door. And
Oh my God, I'm claustrophobic. I got to stop you right there. Just hearing that makes me. We're down to the last minute. That's why I didn't mean to interrupt you, Elliot. But
that's
that's
okay.
it's amazing how quirky a lot of these celebs are, and I know that you're going to have a list of these stories. I could listen to you all day. Commercials are going to kick in automatically, so I got to cut it short. The show
Okay.
is called Studio Confidential. It opens this Saturday night. It is Valentine's Day at the Sheen Center for Thought and Culture on Bleecker Street in Manhattan. I can't tell you how much we appreciate you coming on. Elliot Shiner, iconic music engineer and producer, some of the biggest in the business that you've worked with. God bless you. Thank you for coming on this morning. I will be
Thanks.
there this weekend. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, Ken.
Thank you. What a great man. And when we come back, University Hospital in Newark with a new leader. We'll speak with Carol Johnson about the hospital when we come back.
Play it like the New York Sirens. Live in the spotlight. Etch your name in lights. Embrace the noise. And when it calls you, turn it up. Get louder. Play it like they'll hear us everywhere. Because this is our team. New York Sirens. Play it big.
Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings for your Monday, 8:45, and we go straight to meteorologist Mike Favetta for the regional Garden State forecast.
This weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts, serving all of New Jersey with 13 locations.
You know, Mike, Elliot Shiner, we just had on some of the stories. I'm sure they're going to be amazing. People should go check them out in the village this Saturday. One quick story I want to share with you. When you and I, the station you and I both worked for, which I won't mention, but people can figure it out. I remember whenever Aretha Franklin, the late great, when she would come on the show, because years ago when she was younger and would tour, she got screwed out of her money once. So before she would perform, this is a true story, she would take her white purse. This is before she would actually sing. She'd put it on the piano before the performance and walk away. And whoever was hosting her, TV, whatever, they had to pay her in cash in the purse. And then she would come back right before the performance and look. And if there was money in there, she would do the performance. If there was no money, she would walk away. That is the gospel truth.
Wow.
I was there to witness it once. And I was like, this is Aretha Franklin. She did it in cash. And that was the way it was done. I love stories like that. I'm sorry to take away some of your time there, but I thought
No, it's
I
a
would share a
great
bit of time
story.
during this interview. Isn't that awesome?
That's
So it is
fantastic.
cold on this National Pizza Day. It's going to warm up a
Yeah,
little though,
yeah.
right?
It is going to warm up a little bit. I know. Get the purses out because when you see that electric and gas bill, oh boy, it's going to be high, especially after all this cold weather with temperatures that are this cold. So keeping an eye to what happens for the next few weeks. There is a warm up on the way that arrives beginning later this weekend and lasting through next week, all thanks to this big ridge that moves across the country. And what that means is just a lot of mild air that heads in our direction over the next 2 weeks. So we make it up to just shy of the freezing mark today. With the sunshine, it'll feel a little bit better. You'll see more of that melting commence throughout today and tomorrow with highs just above freezing each and every day. That's the good news. Now, by next week, our overnight lows will also be above freezing. That'll feel wonderful, with the only exception there being Sunday. A little bit of a rain-snow mix potentially Sunday into Monday, and that looks to be mostly rain down the shore where it's a little bit too warm for the snow as temperatures stay in the upper 30s. So good news ahead, Ken, as we finally break this really cold spell across New Jersey.
Sorry, just taking a moment to enjoy every word you just said. Thank you, Mike. Enjoy your day. Go enjoy your
You too.
National Bagel and Lox Day, and I will enjoy my National Pizza Day with my homemade pizza in just a little bit. Thank you, sir. It is 9 degrees in Trenton, 11 degrees northern New Jersey, 10 degrees right now in Cape May, and only 5 degrees still down in Vineland at 8:48. We look at the traffic we have right now, Garden State Parkway. Let's go down to exit 137. There's a disabled vehicle, GSP northbound at Route 28, Cranford. The right lane is blocked. You can see the delays that's causing. Disabled truck on the midspan of the Bayonne Bridge northbound, and that is blocking the right lane, causing delays for those folks crossing the states between New York and New Jersey. We have a crash on the Garden State southbound north of exit 91BA, Chambers Bridge Road in Wall. All lanes are open to traffic, but that's nonetheless causing delays. Disabled vehicle 295 northbound north of exit 52, Columbus Road in Mansfield with the right shoulder closed, and a disabled tractor trailer now 295 southbound exit 61. That's Arena Drive in Hamilton with the ramp lane closed. Hudson River crossings, Lincoln Tunnel is now 35 minutes into Manhattan, 25 of the Holland, GWB upper and lower, 45 minutes. You could see wow, what a mess we have there. They just went right to the lower level. There's something going on there you could see. Upper is your better bet. You could see that truck on the upper right. That's the upper level. Please take that if you can, if you're doing the GWB. Well, it's 8:49. University Hospital plays a critical role across the entire state of New Jersey as a safety net and a teaching hospital. The institution is now getting a new leader. Carol Johnson is the new president and CEO of the University Hospital. She joins us this morning. Welcome, President Johnson. Good to have you on.
Thank you so much, Ken. Thank you for having me.
It's an honor. I mean, University Hospital is a mecca. It is an epicenter for healthcare in the entire state. What a big role to undertake. And a lot of people may not realize that you bring many, many years. You don't look old enough to bring many, many years, but you bring many, many years of experience to this job, working for the federal government as well. And this is a huge responsibility. Where do you see University Hospital headed in the years to come?
Oh, thank you so much, Ken, for highlighting the incredible work that happens here at University Hospital. I'm so honored to be in this role. This is a place that, one, delivers the highest quality healthcare to people across northern New Jersey. Two, it is an anchor institution, as you mentioned, a safety net provider here in Newark for communities that have historically faced under-resourced and challenges in accessing healthcare. And University Hospital is the way that we meet those critical needs. And three, we are part of the Renaissance here in Newark. We are rebuilding, redeveloping. We are moving forward with building high quality facilities that match the high quality care that happens here at University Hospital. So we are part of the future. We are the place where people should come for all their quality healthcare needs. And I'm just so excited and honored to be in this role.
So full disclosure, I was a priest many decades ago. And when I was, a lot of people don't know that. And when I used to get called into University Hospital for emergency calls, for sick calls a lot. And I used to see your staff there first, front, full, what am I trying to say? Up front. That's the word I'm looking for. And I saw the dedication, the hard work, the long hours, and they're really, really dedicated. It's an incredible institution. It's both a safety net hospital and it's also an academic medical center. So how do you balance that?
Well, it's critically important. We do 100,000 emergency department visits a year. We answer more than 100,000 EMS calls a year. We do close to more than 18,000 discharges a year. But we also are building our outpatient footprint and have close to 300,000 outpatient visits a year too. We are all of those things, which means we need a strong and high quality workforce to do that. And we are the home of really training that next generation of the workforce through our partnerships with Rutgers and our ability to train medical residents, but not just physicians, also our work to really bring nursing students from all across the region into University Hospital and train them in critical care, in the trauma services that we do, in the emergency department, and in all those outpatient settings. So we are part of the future of healthcare in New Jersey because we're training the future.
President Johnson, I'm glad you touched on Rutgers. I'm a confused person when it comes to this. So it's called University Hospital because of the association with Rutgers. What is the association? Was it once part of the university? Is it still part of the university? What is the connection?
Yeah, we actually, our University Hospital is a partnership with the clinical practice at Rutgers University. And so we work with the physicians from Rutgers as part of our hand in glove partnership to be able to deliver care, the highest quality care. And that's why they're our academic medical partner and we are their principal teaching hospital for the state of New Jersey.
Thank you for clarifying. All these years, I've always wondered, and I was always confused. Is it officially part of the university? So it's a partnership then, which is, thank you for clearing that up. And the University Hospital has always prided itself on serving the greater community. Many in the community of Newark struggle to pay the bills. There's a renaissance going on, but it's tough. It's a big urban center with a lot of very good, hardworking people. So it's something that the hospital hasn't worried so much about because it's such a large institution. But no matter who you are, you still get the best quality of care, which is the amazing thing. But the reality is it still costs money to turn on the lights at the hospital, to keep the building open, to pay your staff. Where do you see the healthcare system in the years ahead? Because you worked under when President Obama started the insurance reform, et cetera. So where do you see insurance sustaining University Hospital in the future and other hospitals like yours around the country?
Yeah, thank you for raising that, Ken, because University Hospital has a strong commitment from our partners at the state, at the county, at the local level. And we historically have had a very strong relationship with our partners at the federal level. But that is really a thing that is challenging and changing as we go forward, particularly as changes to the Medicaid program happen. Medicaid is a lifeline for providing health insurance coverage for so many people in our community and across this state. And it is changing because of changes in Washington. And we're going to see some real challenges going forward not because people aren't doing the right thing, people are doing absolutely the right thing, but Washington has now layered on all these paperwork requirements. So people who are working or people who are sick are going to have to prove that time and time again in order to hold on to their Medicaid, which is a real challenge and unfortunate for people who are working hard and just trying to care for their families. To layer other burdens on Medicaid enrollees is a really difficult thing that's going to make the environment hard for our patients, hard for us as a facility. But that's why we're working in partnership with community organizations across our city and state. That's why we're working hard with the new Sherrill administration to make sure that we can continue to provide the highest quality care here and meet people's needs. But we are very worried about these looming Medicaid cuts.
I mean, some of the very sickest individuals who are the ones least likely to be able to weed their way through all of that paperwork. They're the ones who need the help, and they're the ones who can't figure out, navigate the system. And then to add complicated layers on top of it is just, it's it's challenging to say the very least. So I'm with
It's
you,
just
President Johnson.
unfair. It's just unfair. People are working or people are sick. That's why they're on Medicaid, and forcing people to have to produce paperwork constantly to prove that they're working or to prove what their illness is just to keep their health insurance is a real barrier to people getting the care they need and getting on the right footing to be able to make sure their families can thrive.
Yeah, I mean, we all know, and I know there's fraud that happens, but do you put the imposition on the victim, right, the sick person, or do you figure out a better way to run the system so that fraud won't be committed, but at the same time you're not persecuting the person who is sickest and most in need of healthcare? So I'm with you, President Johnson, 100%. Look, you have big shoes there, but I know that you can do it because of your background. If anyone could run that university hospital perfectly, it's you. And we welcome you to the area. I hope you enjoy it. New Jersey's the best darn state to live in, and I'm from New York. Now I live in New Jersey.
I'm from New Jersey. I'm from New Jersey.
There you go. So you're home. Oh, you must be so excited. So welcome home, man. It's great. This is forever my home. I live here longer than I lived in New York. What's the problem?
Okay.
But Carol Johnson, President and CEO of University Hospital in Newark, please don't be a stranger. We'd love to have you on a regular basis. Best of luck with the new role, and best of luck with University Hospital. Thanks for coming on this morning.
Thanks so much, Ken.
You bet. What a great lady. That is on New Jersey Mornings for this Monday, February 9th. I'm Ken Rosato. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you again tomorrow morning, starting at 7 with Mornings with Ken Rosato that goes to the coast. In the meantime, bundle up, stay warm. We'll see you tomorrow.